Being seen and being heard is hard work, especially when you have no corporeal form. I cannot touch, I am unseen, I am unheard. Sure, I blow life into the world, and I'm responsible for providing power and energy. You could say I'm the driving force for the world as we know it. But I am unseen, unchangeable. I am bound to this world, which was once a simple and uncomplicated affair. Once we were like gods, feared by all, the true masters of man. But who is the master now? I am being used to poison and pollute this beautiful place. The smoke and rancid smell of unnatural materials choke my very existence. Every day I become less and less. The rot has truly set in, and it's too late for me. It's too late for them. I cannot scream. I cannot shout. So they continue their futile crusade, and for what? The sake of industrial progress? To aid in their pointless wars? To see who can be the conqueror of all? Are there reasons enough to warrant this needless destruction? If only they could truly understand the pain they have caused. How do the humans cope? Over the eons, I have become more and more attuned to the ways of human nature. They lead such complicated lives, so much anger, hate and pain. But then there's their creativity, love and joy to be found. How is it possible to have the capability of being the most wondrous creatures ever born into the universe, and yet also be the monsters birthed from the most terrible nightmares? I have too many thoughts and feelings bouncing around my non-existent head. I am a mass of contradictions, and now the world is no longer in black and white for me. It exists as a complex of different morals. Right, wrong, justified, unjustified. It is for that reason that I grow wary of this pain. My sister doesn't have the same problem. She's complex and yet uncomplicated in her role and views of the world. She is steadfast in her beliefs and radiates with all her emotions, ready to surface when they are called for. It's just who she is, and it burns deeply within her core. She's capable of such warmth and compassion. It was her who first presented herself to the humans, providing them with the tools to survive and evolve. It could also be said she was the first to equip man with the wrath of God. But for better or worse, she's been leading humanity out the darkness and into her light. Like me, she is bound to this world. But unlike me, I think she is subjected to the winds of human nature. She provides a light and warmth that nurtures and sustains the planet and all its inhabitants. But also, the warmth can quickly turn into the most terrible pain. She is both terrible and beautiful, much like the humans, I guess. But I know she deeply regrets when her actions become uncontrollable. It's just who she is. As siblings, we of course love each other and have great admiration for each other's work. But, like all siblings, we clash. My brother is diametrically opposite to my sister. He just exudes a calm energy that ebbs and flows, transforming himself into whatever the earth requires of him. He's often quite isolated, whilst me, I'm everywhere all at once. Although, I still don't see him as much as I'd like. He tends not to get involved with the affairs of humanity, mainly choosing to align himself with the creatures that dwell within him. Although he allows humans to travel across his realm, he is at constant odds with their expansion and perpetual dumping of toxic materials that pollute his skin and hurt the ecosystems he's meticulously built. His world seems like the last remnants of a bygone era. As the world seemingly becomes less vast and more connected, he's maintained corners of the world untouched by the likes of man, and he's willing to do anything to keep it that way. Ever heard the expression, when it rains it pours? Yeah, well, that's him all over. He has a certain wisdom that the rest of my siblings lack, but you really don't want to be near him when he's in a bad mood. I think he wants to return to a more simpler time too. I no longer know where my loyalties lie. Is it to the humans, or to the natural order? My eldest sister has given so much to them. She was the first of our kind to emerge, long before I blew in. My sister is the foundation for all that has come since. For all that breathes and walks upon her skin and inhabits the environments that she grew. I miss how beautiful she was back then. So green. The greenest of greens, where trees and lakes were stretched out as far as the mortal eye could see. It was a time when all of my siblings lived together in perfect harmony and worked in tandem with each other. So how can they do this to her? Rip up the foundation she laid and demolish the trees to make way for their ugly stone monoliths and cold metal spires that spew obnoxious fumes into the atmosphere. If only they could hear her terrible screams, then maybe they would stop. My sister means everything to me. Without her, I would quite literally be nothing. So would we all. She began as primordial soup and grew, just like her trees, into something truly unique and beautiful. Her love for all life in its many forms is rooted deep within her. A love that still prevails to this day. But is that enough anymore? Has this experiment run its course? We gave so much of ourselves to the inhabitants of this world, but for what? I can no longer breathe. I no longer understand my purpose. But is that enough anymore? Has this experiment finally run its course? We gave so much of ourselves to the inhabitants of this world. And for what? I can't breathe. What am I doing here? Why am I here? Is my time truly over? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.